Welcome to the Ultraflex Fantasy Football Podcast, where we have fun with our friends while we talk about football. I am your host, Anthony Sutton. With me are my friends, Roberto Green.
What's up, boys?
And my other friend, Ryan Wheeler.
Hey, everybody. Hey, I have a did you know? When I get introduced, I have to drop something interesting from now on. That's my new task. So, did you know where your pee comes from?
Oh, I was not ready for that.
No, this is important, okay? Because, Rob, your mother was our science teacher in like 4th grade, and I feel like this is about when I should have learned this, and I did not until about a week ago. So, I feel like she might have failed at least me. But did you guys know that your pee comes from your blood?
I did not know.
No, I can't say I knew that. I mean, maybe I did at one point, but I forgot it.
Okay, so I always used to think, like, if I drink a glass of water, right, it's going to go into my stomach and then somehow find a tube or something that puts it into my bladder. Like, that's how I saw how that worked. And then I peed out the water and whatever else got mixed in there. Like, I never put 2 and 2 together, but this is what happens, guys, and it's fascinating. Listeners, this is fascinating, and I'm sure you already know this probably because this is like really elemental stuff, science. So, you drink water, you eat food. It goes into your belly, your stomach, okay? Not your belly. Sorry. All right. So it goes into your stomach, and then from your stomach, it starts going down into your small intestine. When it hits the small intestine, the liquid, the water portion, gets absorbed into the walls of the small intestine, and then absorbed into your bloodstream. Your bloodstream then runs through your body, hydrating, the cells, the brain, body parts, muscles, and then it goes into your kidneys. Or it might actually go to your kidneys first, I'm not sure, and then it goes, all the filtered stuff goes through your body, but regardless, it goes from your small intestine, absorbs into the walls, into your bloodstream, into your kidneys, and then from your kidneys, it gets filtered down into your bladder. So it goes from like water to your blood, and then it gets filtered from your blood into pee, urine, urea, down these little tubes. I can't remember what the tubes are called. This isn't a science class or anything. But,
I mean, it sounds like one. I'm not going to
lie. And then you pee out what's left. Like what is filtered out of your kidneys, which is why it's so important to have healthy kidneys so they can function properly. And that's why when they say when you drink, you're putting pressure on your kidneys because it has to filter out the alcohol from your blood. That's how your blood alcohol content, which I never put 2 and 2 together once again. Like your blood is literally has alcohol in it. Like it would normally have water, it has alcohol.
So blood is mostly water.
Yeah, probably.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, I thought that was fascinating. That's why it's important to drink your water, folks. Make sure you're drinking water.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Look at that. The Ultraflex science class with Ryan Wheeler. I like it. A lot of pee talk.
Hey, sometimes you got to talk about a pee. A little bit of pee.
All right. Last couple episodes, we've been ranking 3 things to start off. We ranked the best places to have a beverage, the fast food chains. This time, we're going to rank the top 3 months of the year. We'll each give our 3rd month. I will go ahead and start. So my 3rd favorite month of the year is December. Mostly because of the holidays. I like the fact that I can take a week or 2 off of work, spend time with the family, go see extended family. Now that I have a little one and another one on the way, get them opening presents, and then the new year is right around the corner. So for me, December is number 3.
Rob, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. My number 3 month, I went with June. So I picked June because it's pretty much the start of summer, right? I think it's like June 26th, June 23rd, sometime around there. But either way, that's when, at least in Buffalo, New York, the weather finally starts to get nice. Sometimes May is nice, but you can never really count on it. So June, the weather finally starts to turn nice.
All right. And my 3rd favorite month it's actually May, for the exact same reasons that Rob just said. I live in Buffalo also. And to me, I feel like we do get a lot of rain. The whole April showers bring May flowers thing, that's real in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So like April, we get a lot of rain. May, it starts getting nicer. It's still like, it could sometimes be in like the 40s, 50s, but I love the 40s, 50s, 60s. That's my favorite temperature.
The reason I chose June over May was I think in May we still have some mud. And we have two big dogs at our house, so that leads to mud in the house, which isn't fun.
For sure.
Number 2 for me is September. I picked September because football starts. I live in North Carolina. June, July, August are about 95 degrees on the reg. September, you start to drop down to low 80s, high 70s, and then at night you can even drop a quarter zip or two, which quarter zips are my favorites attire. Quarter zips or hoodies and shorts weather is by far the best. College football started or going on as well. And then we're potentially going to have a baby in September. It's either going to be the next week, which is in August, or it'll be in September. So that'll also affect the rankings. So that's number 2.
I'm rooting for August, just so you know, because my birthday is like one of the last days of August. I'm really hoping it lands on the same as me.
Share the birthday.
Yeah.
Your birthday is 37 weeks.
There is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the day I'm rooting for. It'd be a healthy baby. That's full term now, right? 37 weeks.
It is.
All right, let's go.
Seems perfect.
Let's go.
All right, so for my number 2, I have December also. I mean, it's the holiday time, everything Anthony talked about. For the most part, everybody's cheerful and happy outside of some of the Scrooges out there, you know. But I don't love the snow or the cold, but December, it's usually not too bad yet. January, February is where it starts to get real bad. So, yeah, December, the holidays, the happiness, getting together with family. Love it.
December is my number 2 as well. And the only reason I didn't put it at number 3 was because Anthony had it at number 3, and I was like, I'll move it to number 2. And then you throw it out at number 2. But I can't keep it as my number 1 because I don't like the snow either. And there's just a certain energy that comes with December and Christmas and family and all that stuff. Even like the first snowfall, sometimes in November and sometimes in October in Buffalo. But there's an energy that feels really good about December, and you also have football, like important football going on.
Yeah, football
at that time.
And Christmas music. I love Christmas music. I'll throw that out there. That might be a hot take, but I love Christmas music.
I know you're like me, and we can sometimes actually listen to Christmas music like year long, but I definitely start that stuff like October, and a lot of people are like, can't do it until after Thanksgiving. I'm like, I've been listening to this stuff for a month and a half, man. It just makes me feel good. I'm going to listen to it.
Exactly. Makes you happy.
I think a week or 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you can bring out the Christmas music.
All right. So you're just not on our level. Go ahead.
No, I am not. Number 1 for me is March. My birthday is in March. My son's birthday is in March. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. So UNC, Duke, NC State, Wake Forest are all very close by. March is obviously known for college basketball. So to live so close to the best rivalry in the sports makes it that much better. So for me, and then also, again, it's like 70 and sunny down here in March. So that's like perfect weather. So for me, March is numero uno.
All right. I like it. My number 1 is not March. It is October.
Jeez Louise, you got to be kidding me.
Did I steal it?
This, Rob. We could have just went and gave our the exact same reasons and done our 3-2-1.
Well, I'll lay them out here. So you got football that's still fresh, just starting weeks, 5, 6, 7, right around there. It's just starting to pick up, get interesting. For me, not for you, but I'm a hunter, so hunting season gets going with bow hunting. You got Halloween at the end of the month. I love seeing all the houses set up for Halloween and trick-or-treating now with my daughter. the fall weather is when it starts to get real nice in October. I mean, chilly, but you can wear a hoodie, some jeans. And who doesn't like to see the leaves change?
Such
Bro,
a
the
The
romantic.
beautiful colors.
I
Such
don't
a
know
romantic.
that you left anything for me. So my biggest reason is my favorite apparel is jeans, like a t-shirt and a hoodie, and
Yeah.
maybe some boots or something. But like that's my favorite thing to go out in. And you
Yeah, I
just
love that too.
yeah. So it's that, and then we live in a rural part of Buffalo. We don't live like in the city, and when we visit home, it's like out in the hills, the mountains, and man, seeing those trees, all those shades of orange and yellow, it's and red. It's beautiful out there. So there's nothing better than driving through the mountains, looking at the hills and the trees, and then
We grew up in ski country of New York,
Some-
right? So
yes, we did.
Some hay rides and hot apple cider.
It's the perfect time of year. I love that time of year.
me too.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to get into some football talk now. We're only 12 minutes in or 11 minutes in, and we'll finally start talking about football.
Oh, this is a football podcast?
Sometimes.
12 minutes on the dot.
If you were willing to and able to listen to our 2-hour Ultraflex After Dark episode last week, we picked every single game that we haven't picked up to this point. So we have every team's record. We're going to discuss division winners. We're going to discuss the teams that we picked to make it as a wild card. We're going to actually go through our playoffs individually, discuss who we have making the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, and then we're also going to go through some season awards for MVP, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and potentially who we think is going to be the Super Bowl MVP. So, the AFC division winners are the Buffalo Bills at 14-3, the Baltimore Ravens at 12-5, the Indianapolis Colts at 11-6, and potentially the biggest surprise, just because of how competitive it is the Los Angeles Chargers at 13-4. And then I will toss it over to Robbie to discuss the wild card and the tiebreakers.
Oh boy, you're throwing that on me. All right. So, our 3 wild card teams in order ended up being the 5 seed, the Kansas City Chiefs, the 6 seed, Cincinnati Bengals, and the 7 seed Denver Broncos, all finishing the season at 11-6. So I went through, looked at NFL.com's tiebreaker scenarios to break the tie to make sure we had this right for you guys. And let's see if I can remember exactly how it happened.
Necessarily that important as to how.
Yeah,
but we do.
I'm not going to go through each of them because it got a little crazy. I think the last tiebreaker got down to like the 3rd or 4th on the list. So
yeah.
Ryan, how do you?
We did go. He did do the work. This is accurate. This is the way it ended up falling because of the records that we gave these guys.
Ryan, how do you feel about the Titans not making the playoffs?
You know, what bothers me most about the Titans not making the playoffs is that you guys made them lose to the Jaguars, and I was very against that. And if they would have just beaten the Jaguars, they would have been 11-6. And I don't know.
We did have them win week 18, Jacksonville.
Yeah, you also had them lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars at some point in the season, and you let the Jaguars somehow
The more
go
competitive Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, they should have beat the Jaguars.
Yeah, they should have. Exactly, you're right.
But they didn't.
Regardless, if you guys would have given us that win, I'm curious as to how that would have worked out in terms of there being 4 teams at 11-6, because that means one team at 11-6 would have missed the playoffs.
Yep.
So, and actually, I would have been curious if they would have even taken the division over the Colts, because we had the Colts going 11-6 also. So I wonder who would have won the division there. And I wonder if
also want to point out we also gave Indianapolis a loss to Jacksonville, and they got to 11-6. So
well, that's also because you guys picked them to win more games than the Titans, because I definitely would have picked them to win enough games to get to the playoffs. But I digress.
We couldn't let you
do
pick them to win the
you-
Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
Do you expect I know we're all Bills fans. I know we talked about it a little bit during our After Dark episode, but do you expect the AFC East to be as big of a runaway as we have it picked? So we have the Bills at 14-3, and the next closest team is the Miami Dolphins at 8-9.
I personally think that we somehow shorted almost every team in the AFC East, at least like a win or two. But they all had tough schedules, so it's really tough. I do agree that the Patriots will end up as last in the division. I think the Jets are probably the third best team, although that's really tough now. I don't know.
We do have them tied, but
Yeah, we have them tied both at 5-12. That's very few wins for a Bill Belichick team. That's my only problem with that. Is I think that he's good for at least 6. I was thinking more towards 7. The Miami Dolphins, I think, are actually a very good team this year. Okay, I'm not gonna say a very good team. I say that they're a solid team this year. And 8-9 is a decent record, but I would have expected them to get 9 wins at least. Still not good enough for the playoffs.
I was gonna say I maybe would expect it to stay close through like week 6 or 7 when the Bills have their bye, just because their schedule starts out tough. So they start out LA, Tennessee, Miami, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Kansas City. And then I looked at Miami's schedule thinking maybe they could keep it close for a while, but that they start New England, but then they go to Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati, New York Jets, Minnesota. Like that's a tough start too.
Yeah. So
it'll probably be closer than what we have picked. Like one of those teams will probably end up better than 8-9, but
right. So real quick, we had for the AFC West teams that missed the playoffs. We had the Raiders at 9-8. We had the AFC South. We had the Titans at 10-7. Jacksonville Jaguars 8-9. Crazy. And the Houston Texans at 3-14. The AFC North, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers missing the playoffs at 8-9. Cleveland Browns 7-10. AFC East, we just went over that 8-9 for the Dolphins, 5-12 for both the Jets and the Patriots. And then just to get the NFC out of the way, also the NFC East. Actually, you know what? Let's go over the division winners and who clinched the playoffs in the NFC first, and then we'll read the last teams, the teams that didn't make it, and the records.
Yeah, so the NFC division winners are the Philadelphia Eagles at 12-5, the Green Bay Packers at 14-3, Tampa Bay Bucks at 12-5, and the San Francisco 49ers at 11-6. So we have the Packers as the 1 seed, the Bucks as the 2 seed, Eagles as the 3 seed, and the 49ers as the 4 seed. And then Rob, I'll throw it over to you again for the wild card for the NFC.
So the NFC wildcard teams, we have at number 5 the Los Angeles Rams, who lost out on another long, tough to explain tiebreaker scenario with the 49ers, where we had them splitting. They had the same division record, so it started going down to, I believe it made it to 4th or 5th down the list in tiebreaker. Like it was like record in common games is what finally broke that tie. So yeah, we have the 49ers winning. The Rams is the 5 seed. Also at 11-6. The 6 seed, we had the Dallas Cowboys. And the 7 seed, we had the Arizona Cardinals. So we had the Cardinals at 10-7, beating out the Vikings, who were also 10-7 for the final wild card spot. That was on a head-to-head Arizona victory over the Vikings this season.
All right.
And the Cowboys were 11-6. I think I left that out. So,
and the teams that did not make the playoffs and their records, obviously, the NFC East, the Giants we had at 6-11, the Washington Commanders 6-11, the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC North 10-7. Rob just said that. Detroit Lions, we had them going 9-8, which would be a win as far as I'm concerned for the Lions. That's definitely a winning record,
a step in the right direction for them.
Yep. The Bears 2-15. We don't have much hope for the Bears. NFC South, New Orleans Saints 9-8. The Carolina Panthers 4-13, and the Atlanta Falcons 2-15. And then in the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks at 1-16, which is ouch.
As we said, bet the under on them.
Ryan, can I ask why you don't seem to think it's. I know you're very high on the Lions, but you don't seem to think it's as crazy, or even maybe crazy at all, for the Lions to go 9-8. But it's absolutely insane for the Jaguars to go 8-9.
It's just something, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I've been a fan of the Titans my whole life, and Jacksonville has just been absolutely terrible the last few years. They just have a stink to them. I don't know. Sorry, Jacksonville fans. Detroit feels like a team that's on the up. They have a top offensive line. They have great weapons. Their defense is good. They have a. I mean, I like their coach, but they just feel like a team that's truly on the up. Jared Goff is a decent quarterback. Like, he can get the job done. Jacksonville, I know that they have Trevor Lawrence, but he showed absolutely nothing, and he had terrible coaching, and I get that, but they're also trying to implement a new coaching staff this year, and I think it's just hard for a team like that, who has been historically bad the past few years, to get a new coach, and now suddenly you're 8-9. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like they're much closer to a 5-win team, or a 7, like between 5 and 7. 8 wins to me just seems too far out there.
Just to back up Anthony's point, though, I do want to say, going back to 2018, the Lions were 6-10. The year after that, 2019, 3-12-1, 5-11 in 2020, and 3-13-1 last year. So we're not exactly talking about a winning team here either.
No, absolutely. Yeah,
a big
absolutely.
jump there from 3 to 9 wins.
Yeah, would you agree with me that the Lions are on the up?
Yeah, and I also think Jacksonville is, because they can't go anywhere else.
I mean, yeah, I guess from 3-13.
Would you rather have Trevor Lawrence this year, not Dynasty, or Jared Goff this year?
Lawrence for me. At least you have the potential there. I mean, you know what Jared Goff is.
Yeah,
it's not good enough.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know, man. To me, that's a little tougher than just throwing Goff under the bus. He did finish. I mean, it was back in 2017. He was the 12th overall quarterback. In 2018, he was the 6th overall quarterback in fantasy. In 2019, he was the 13th overall quarterback.
Oh yeah, he's fine, but he's not good enough to win with, is what I'm saying.
He also had Sean McVay in his offense.
Yeah, I get that, but he also, he has good weapons. I don't know. I'm very high on the line.
I don't disagree that Detroit is going to be better, and I think everyone's kind of riding the Dan Campbell hype train from Hard Knocks and all of that, and they've got weapons that are young and they're going to be explosive. But I guess my point is, I think Jacksonville is more similar to that than they are a 4-13 team.
So do you guys remember 2017? Jacksonville went 10-6 that year, and the Lions went 9-7. So maybe we have a repeat of that year, and they both get a winning record.
That's weird.
But anyway, we're here to talk about division winners and pick playoffs. So let's go ahead and do that. The AFC wild card game. So we'll have the Buffalo Bills getting a bye as the number 1 seed. That leaves the Chargers as the 2 seed playing the Broncos. The Ravens as the 3 seed playing the 6 seed Bengals. And then the 4 seed Colts hosting the Chiefs as the 5 seed. So a couple division games there. And then the Colts and Chiefs, who have had some playoff history in the last few years. So, Rob, do you want to go through your picks first?
I'll go through my wild card.
Yeah, I'll do just the wild card, and then we'll go down to the other games.
Yeah, I like it. So for the first game, Chargers-Broncos, I went with the upset, picked the Broncos. And I will admit there wasn't too much thought process there, except for I wanted the Bills to potentially play the Chiefs at home in the AFC Championship game and not in the divisional round in round 2. So Broncos, you need to go out there and beat the Chargers for the Bills. Thank you. Second game, I had the Ravens over the Bengals. Pretty much the same scenario. I could have flip-flopped and chose the Bengals over the Ravens instead of the Broncos over the Chargers, but I just thought Broncos over Chargers felt more likely until I see the Chargers win a playoff game. And then for the Colts Chiefs, I obviously chose the Chiefs because, like I said, I want the Bills to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And these are my picks. So
Yeah, you can do whatever the heck you want, man. These are your picks. All right, so for the wild card, actually, it's funny. I have the exact same teams winning, Rob. I took the Broncos over the Chargers, but
a lot of copying tonight, Ryan.
I filled this out first just so everybody knows. I took the Broncos over the Chargers because I love Russ Wilson. I love the experience that he has, especially in the playoffs. The Chargers have none.
Yeah, that experience could be huge.
Yeah,
playoffs.
And I've said that I think the Broncos are the best team in that division, and I'll hold steady on that take, and I will have them beating the better team, even though they're the seed. And then I had the Ravens beating the Bengals as well. I don't know that the Bengals are as good as they seem to be last year, and the Ravens they have to be better with Lamar at the helm all year long. And then I have the Chiefs beating the Colts. That one wasn't that difficult for me.
It'd be pretty shocking to see the Chiefs lose wild card round.
I had the Chargers beating the Broncos. I just feel like it'll be a home game if everything is the way that our standings are. It'll be a home game for the Chargers. It'll be indoors for that offense to be as explosive as they can be. Justin Herbert seems ready to have a monster season, and that offense is ready to explode, in my opinion. So I think they'll be able to pull that game out. I have the Ravens beating the Bengals. I think that's just a game that Lamar Jackson needs to have, and I feel like he'll show up and beat the Bengals in that game. And then I have the Chiefs beating the Colts. I think Patrick Mahomes is just not going to lose in the first round, like we've talked about. So I think you have to give him the benefit of the doubt there. So
until he loses, it's tough to pick against him that early in the playoffs.
So I've got the Bills hosting the Chiefs and the Chargers hosting the Ravens in the next round. But we'll go back over to you, Rob, so you can do the next round.
All right. So my matchups end up being the Bills at home against the Broncos and the Ravens hosting the Chiefs. So I kind of already spoiled it, saying I wanted the Bills Chiefs to play in the AFC Championship game. So give me the Bills over the Broncos and the Chiefs going into Baltimore, getting the win over the Ravens.
All right. And my division,
Bills Chiefs again, third year in a row.
Why not? Everybody loves it. I have the Bills hosting the Broncos, same exact thing as Rob, and the Ravens hosting the Chiefs, except I have the Bills beating the Broncos and the Ravens beating the Chiefs in the divisional round. I think that would be a very interesting game. Ravens Chiefs, and I mean I love Mahomes, but I am also a huge fan of Lamar Jackson. So I'd love to see him get past the Chiefs in the divisional round and have a chance at a conference championship against the Bills.
All right. So, like I said, I got the Bills hosting the Chiefs and the Chargers hosting the Ravens. I think the Bills being at home this time are just waiting to make up for the last playoff game, the 13 seconds, and they're going to come out firing and win that game at home. I think the Bills Stadium or Highland Stadium. Highmark Stadium would be rocking. Probably something that we've never even seen before. So the Bills win that game, advance to play the Chargers in the next round, because I have the Chargers beating the Ravens in a very high-scoring game and would lead to one of the more entertaining matchups with the Bills and Chargers.
I will say if the Chargers could get through the Broncos round one, I would like them to beat either the Ravens or Chiefs, depending on how those matchups played out round two.
I live about 15 miles away from Highmark Stadium, and I feel like if the Bills were hosting the Chiefs, I'd be able to hear the crowd from here.
That game would get whatever the NFL deems as prime time. I don't know if that's Saturday night or Sunday night. or I would guess it's not Monday night, or that Sunday afternoon game, whatever it is, we get the prime time slot. So that'd be exciting.
For sure.
All right. So conference, who has Rob? You're up.
Yep. Well, you know where I'm going. It's time for the Bills to overtake the Chiefs. They're due. They're ready to explode. Third time's the charm. Let's go Buffalo to the Super Bowl. Big win at home. Let's go.
All right. And I have the Ravens beating the Bills in Buffalo. It's not that it's not that I think the Ravens are the better team. I truly don't. But good teams have bad days, and I hate betting against Josh Allen. The only thing is I had a real good feeling that two of us would be picking the Bills to probably go all the way and win the Super Bowl, and I didn't want to be like everybody else. So I have the Ravens beating the Bills in the conference championship game. Don't hate me, Bills Mafia. I did this just to be different.
You got to bet your house on the Bills or Ravens that game. Who you pick?
Oh, the Bills, easily. I don't want to bet against Josh Allen. If I had to put money on this game, I would say absolutely the Bills. There's no team that I would take. I mean, if I had to put a team right now, guess a team right now who's going to win the Super Bowl, the Bills.
Yeah, they are the favorite. So, all right, Bills, Chargers, conference championship, sometime freezing in January. I've got a 4 or 5 month old son, and I'm flying up to Buffalo to watch the game in Buffalo, and the Bills win, and they're going to the Super Bowl.
Let's go.
Wow, that was exciting. Do we even need to do the NFC?
We need to do the NFC because we need to see who the Bills are beating in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It sets up perfect in mine.
Got it. Let's go.
I'll start it off.
Yep, go wild card.
All right, so where are we here? Okay. So first round.
Hang on,
Look at the matchups here.
Seeds, we got 2, the Buccaneers. Well, 1, Packers get a bye. 2, the Buccaneers. 3, Eagles. 4, 49ers. 5, Rams. 6, Cowboys. 7, Cardinals. So we got the Bucs facing the Cardinals, the Eagles hosting the Cowboys, and the 49ers hosting the Rams.
All right. That first game, I got the Bucs taking down the Cardinals. In the second game, I'll take the Eagles at home over the Cowboys. And 49ers, Rams, I will take the Rams. Even though they didn't win the division, they'll come out and get the win in the playoffs.
All right.
On to you, Ryan.
I have the Buccaneers beating the Cardinals as well. I'm surprising that the Cardinals made the playoffs, and that late in the season, they're definitely losing to the Bucs. The Cardinals have to have one of the worst secondaries in the league, and you would think that Tom Brady's just going to eat that game. And I don't bet against Tom Brady in the first round of the playoffs. Number 2, Eagles. Okay, so then it's the Eagles and the Cowboys. I think we actually had the Cowboys losing to the Eagles both games in the regular season when we picked the schedule. If I'm not,
I can check for you.
Wrong about that, but it feels like
we had the Cowboys win the first matchup.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it just feels like I don't know.
The road team win each of those matchups.
And in this case, the Cowboys are the road team, so I kept it consistent. So I have the Cowboys beating the Eagles, and then I have the Rams beating the 49ers. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Trey Lance, and it was actually surprising to me that the 49ers ended up as the division winner in that division. So I'll happily kick them off in the first round.
All right. I've got the Cardinals upsetting the Bucs in the first round. I think the Bucs are just old, and they're already feeling some injuries on the offensive line. They got people out for the season. I think by then they'll win the division because I'm not too worried about the division. I think the Panthers are going to be pretty bad. The Falcons are rebuilding, and the Saints are going to be pretty mediocre. So I think they win the division, have a good record, but at the end of the day, they'll reach the playoffs and lose in the first round. I have the Eagles beating the Cowboys. I think they're just the better team, have a better roster. And then I've got the 49ers beating the Rams. I think Kyle Shanahan will be able to make up for last year and pull that game out. So I've got the
You have
Packers.
Tom Brady losing in the first round of the playoffs.
In
I
his
do.
probable last season.
I do.
Ooh, that is
It'd be a letdown.
that'd be huge.
I just feel like that entire team has been playing a lot of football going the last 2 years. This would be 3 years. They're older. They're going to be injured, and their time is coming up quick.
All right.
All right, so on to the divisional round. Packers off the bye. So I have Packers playing against the Rams. And the second matchup, I got the Eagles going to Tampa Bay to play the Bucs. So in those games, I am taking each of the home teams, setting up, I believe, a rematch of last year's, right? NFC Championship.
Bucks Eagles.
Packers Bucs.
Oh, Packers Bucks. No.
I'm trying to remember, and I can't remember.
49ers.
It was 49ers, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
49ers, Rams, right?
Yes.
Yes. Was it 2 years ago?
It might have been.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, when the Bucs went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think they beat the Packers in that championship game. Obviously,
Yes.
It wasn't last year because the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Right. That sounds right. You threw me off, or I'm on a tizzy here. What are we doing? The divisional round? Okay.
The divisional round, yep.
So I picked the Packers to play against the Cowboys and for the Packers to win that game. I think they're just outright the better team. They have the better quarterback and the better coaching. Next, I have the Bucks beating the Rams, getting their payback from last year. They almost came back. They were almost able, couldn't quite pull it off.
I've got the Packers hosting the Cardinals and the Eagles hosting the 49ers. I think the Packers will run all over the Cardinals. It's going to be January. It's going to be probably close to negative. I don't think Kyler Murray and that offense will work in Lambeau. So I think the Packers easily win that game. And then I think the Eagles have one of the best rosters in the league. It really just comes down to how well Jalen Hurts plays and if he takes that next step. So I think being at home, they pull out that win. And I have the Packers playing the Eagles in the conference championship.
I like it. I'd like to see the Eagles get there. See
I
Hurts
would
take a
too.
step forward. It'd be fun.
That would be awesome.
So my conference championship, I looked it up just to make sure I was correct. The NFC Championship game from 2020 was Tampa Bay going into Green Bay. So I have a repeat of that here, and I will take the same result. Tampa takes out the Packers on the road
Those poor Packers.
to set up a Bills versus Buccaneers Super Bowl. Brady against the Bills. He dominated the Bills for so many years. Can the Bills get over the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady in the same season? We'll find out when I make my pick.
Stay tuned. Dude, do the shocker. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, he's going to pick the Bills. And then you just go, nope, the Bucks win. They can't.
Bills can't beat Brady.
No. So I have the Bucks going into Lambeau as well. Only I have the opposite result. I have the Packers beating the Bucks, setting up a Super Bowl of the Ravens versus the Packers. A Super Bowl that I wouldn't be that interested in watching. It sounds terrible.
It sounds
But that's what happens, guys. It is what it is. The Ravens versus the Packers.
Lamar Jackson versus Aaron Rodgers isn't on that bad.
It's okay. It's just not as
the
cool.
quarterback matchup sounds cool, but for some reason you're right. It just doesn't sound as
Right.
good. Like
it doesn't sound
I
as
feel
good
like
as
if you
Josh
said-
Allen versus Tom Brady.
yeah, or even
Yeah.
Ravens Bucks feels more appealing to me. I don't know why.
It does.
Like
Yeah, I would agree.
Lamar Jackson versus Brady in his last season.
Yeah, I would love to see Lamar Jackson go to the Super Bowl in the year that he's trying to get his contract. You know, he's fighting for himself. He's trying to prove himself even more, which is weird. He doesn't have to prove himself anymore, but dude is gonna get paid if he wins the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I've got the Packers playing or hosting the Eagles. I think Aaron Rodgers has heard enough of the chatter that he hasn't been back to another Super Bowl or hasn't won another Super Bowl. So I think he finally gets over the hump, even with the young wide receivers. I think their running game with Dillon and Jones will be very good. I think their defense continues to improve. I think the coaching staff is smart enough now to let Aaron Rodgers throw the ball at the end of a game and not try to get too cute. So I think the Packers, being at home, win that game and go to the Super Bowl and play the Bills.
All right, everybody. This is what you've all been waiting for, Bills Mafia. We have 2 out of the 3 Super Bowls with the Bills in it to win it. What happens, Rob?
Oh, you already know. The Bills will win their first Super Bowl. I already said it in the hot take segment a few episodes back. They get by Mahomes in the conference championship and in the Super Bowl. They finally get past Tom Brady, and they get their first Super Bowl in franchise history.
Let's go, Bills.
Let's go
Buffalo.
All right. And my Super Bowl just feels so lame after the Super Bowl you set up, but the Ravens play the Packers, and I have the Ravens coming out on top. Lamar Jackson gets it done. And as I said, he proves that he is legit again.
Lamar wins it. All right, I like it. I gave my pick last when I was talking about the conference. I already said the Bills were going to win. So I think the Bills end the streak. Growing up in Buffalo, it was always the Bills were never good enough. It was kind of you're a Bills fan. That stinks. Didn't help that we also had the Sabres, and they've been crap for the last decade, if not longer. Yeah. Must suck to be a Buffalo sports fan. Moved down to North Carolina in 2017. We were in the middle of the drought for 16 or 17 years or whatever it was. And it was embarrassed. I wasn't embarrassed, but people would make fun of you to be a Buffalo Bills fan. And now we're the bleeping Super Bowl champions. So
let's go.
Suck on that.
Oh, man. Got aggressive.
The aggressiveness that's going to come out when the Bills win. The city might end up in flames. I don't know.
I absolutely love it. All right. We got some awards to hand out here on our. Apparently we get to hand out awards now, and we're just gonna predict them. So we want to keep the same order for MVP.
Let's do it. I'm all riled up now.
Yeah, I'll go. So I had made a note card, which I can't find now. That had a few stats on the MVP, but pretty much what it boiled down to was it's almost always a quarterback. I think it was like all but once since 2007, which was Adrian Peterson in 2012, has been a quarterback. And I think all but 2 of those seasons, the quarterback came from a team who finished first or second in their conference during the regular season. So just by going off that and what we picked for our division winners and the overall seeding, the MVP would have to be the quarterback from Buffalo, Los Angeles Chargers, Green Bay Packers, or Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which are some good quarterbacks, right? Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, or Tom Brady. I'm going to give it to the 1 seed from the AFC. I'm a Bills fan. I think Allen's had a couple MVP caliber seasons the last 2 years. I think now is the time where the voters will give it to him if he has even just a repeat of the last couple seasons that he's had, as long as the Bills are the 1 or the 2 seed in the AFC and win the division. So Josh Allen for me.
Yeah. For MVP, I'm a Titans fan first and foremost. The Bills, they have my heart though. And like you just said, all the statistics and stuff, I also believe that Josh Allen will win the MVP this year. And I want Bills Mafia to know that I truly think that we are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Just disregard my Ravens versus Packers. I would love to see Lamar win the Super Bowl. Disregard that. I want the Bills to win the Super Bowl. I would love that. But Josh Allen is my MVP.
Boom. Anthony?
Sorry, I'm over here choking on my own saliva. I had similar thinking as Rob about the quarterback and going to be a higher seed, but I ultimately think if everything plays out like we picked, that the narrative is and the expectation for Josh Allen this year are so high that it would be hard for him to live up to those expectations. And I think if the Chargers come out of that division 13-4 and beat out the Chiefs and the Raiders and the Broncos, and he puts up similar numbers to Josh Allen, I think that the voters would swing towards Justin Herbert. So I'm picking Justin Herbert to win the MVP, even though he might not have the best record. I think the competition of the AFC West will earn him more votes, because if the Bills are really going to win the division by 6 games, it's very likely that Josh Allen doesn't play the last game, and potentially the last game and a half, depending on what's going on with the
MVPs don't have to, bro.
I think he's got a point though, because I did want to touch on that a little bit. If the AFC West is as strong as we've been talking about, and it's a 3 or even 4 team showdown for that division, and one of those teams ends up as the 1 or 2 seed, is close to, in our case here, the Bills, I could see whatever quarterback was able to get his team over that clump of teams there might win some votes, like Anthony said. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, so you guys both think that Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than Josh Allen. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting takes. I like that. But I'm going to go Josh Allen over Justin Herbert.
I picked Josh Allen as my MVP.
That's right,
so.
okay.
I picked the voters to think that Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Josh Allen.
I feel like a lot of those voters are older and like to see guys earn it, though. And they've kind of made, like, they've given Rodgers the MVP 2 years in a row now. And where I think Allen finished second and third, maybe the last 2 years. Maybe it was third and fourth, but he was in the top 5 both years. So I think it could be a case of, well, he's due, so they're going to give it to him as long as he has the stats and the team record to back it up.
Right. All right. Offensive Player of the Year. Rob, who do you have? Mr. GM, give it to us.
I wish the Vikings would have won one more game so I'd feel better about it, because I feel like usually the Offensive Player of the Year comes from a good team as well, but I went with Justin Jefferson to have a crazy season. And I debated, honestly, between him and Jamar Chase. But I went with Jefferson. A lot of camp hype around him right now, playing that like Cooper Kupp role, right, with the Kevin O'Connell, I believe is his name, coming from the Rams to be the new head coach there. So I think we'll see them pass a lot more than they have in the past when Mike Zimmer was the coach, and Jefferson will be the biggest beneficiary of that.
Yeah.
You got Ryan.
It's hard to argue against. I think Justin Jefferson is just a dog. That dude is amazing. He definitely has a chance to do it. My Offensive Player of the Year, because you guys kicked my Titans, didn't even let them make the Super Bowl. I had to give them some love. Derrick Henry.
Make the playoffs.
I mean the playoffs, sorry. If he can stay healthy, truly so far and away better than the next best running back last year. He was like, through, I don't even remember what it was, like 6-7 games, he had the most yards over everybody else, like after getting hit, after the first hit. It was insane.
Contact.
Yeah, it was insane what he was doing. What he was on pace for was just absurd. And if he could have finished that year out, man, that would have been something special. And I think that he has another great year. He's a great running back on a good offense, and I can't wait to see what he can do. Again.
Did he miss enough games to, you think, qualify to win Comeback Player of the Year if he comes back out and does exactly what he was doing last year? Or probably not.
If he did lose or miss enough games, then yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if there's an actual like threshold that you have to hit.
I don't know.
I'm not sure how that works.
Might have to look that up.
Yeah.
All right, my Offensive Player of the Year, and I was going back and forth on MVP, not for this player, but I think if the Chiefs win the it would be the same thing for Patrick Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes kind of has the narrative that he lost Hill and he doesn't really have as many weapons as he has. So if he does come out and produce a chance of winning the MVP as well, and in order for him to have a very good year, I think he'll need to rely very heavily on Travis Kelce. So I think Travis Kelce has a monster year. I think he'll get a ton of targets, a ton of receptions, and a ton of touchdowns. So my offensive player of the year is Travis Kelce.
All right. And we have one more award that we are predicting. Rob, it is Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, so we'll keep this to offense, right?
Yeah.
So this award almost always is a quarterback or a running back. I know last year was Jamar Chase, and the only other time it's happened in like the last 12 years, might even been 15 years, was Odell Beckham. And those were both crazy rookie seasons, like historic rookie seasons. So outside of that happening, which is tough to predict, I think it has to be a quarterback or a running back. And at that point, my thought process went to, well, I don't know that any rookie quarterbacks are going to play enough games this year to really make a difference in the voters' eyes. And that led me to a running back. And I went with Breece Hall just because I think he's the best rookie running back this year.
Yeah, I was actually going to pick Breece Hall also, but my logic went to I chose Kenny Pickett for my offensive rookie of the year, and the reasoning for that is I think that the Steelers are going to play Mitch Trubisky until he loses a game for them, because Kenny Pickett has looked really good in the preseason, and he seems to understand what's going on in that offense, and it really does just feel like Trubisky is a loss away, not just losing a game, but like he is the reason for the loss. I think and that's something that he's definitely capable of doing, is losing a game for them. So I think that as soon as he does that, Kenny Pickett comes in, and just because he is probably the only quarterback, the rookie quarterback this year that's going to play enough games, I think he'll accumulate the best stats and win it over a guy like Breece Hall.
I like it.
If he plays enough games, yeah, I think he would have to be the favorite.
Yeah.
I was thinking, again, I had a similar thought process to, I guess, Rob, where I didn't think a quarterback was going to play enough games. I don't trust the Jets offense to perform well enough for potentially Breece Hall to go off. So I was trying to think of someone that is going to have the opportunity to catch a ton of balls or get a lot of action. So I started thinking about teams that were going to be successful. And the Green Bay Packers, we picked to go 13-4. And I'm assuming that that's not going to be because of Sammy Watkins and Alan Lazard. So I think or not all because of them. So I think their two young receivers are going to have good seasons. And I know there's not a lot of hype about him right now because he's been hurt, but I think that receiver that really takes off once he's back and healthy is the one that was drafted higher, which is Christian Watson. So I think he becomes Aaron Rodgers' go-to wide receiver and has a monster year, and he ends up winning the Rookie of the Year.
I hope so. I have him in Dynasty. All right. What?
That is our awards. We are now going to switch over to some listener questions of the week. But if you're going to take one thing away from this episode, the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl.
Bills are winning the Super Bowl, Anthony said.
Yes. Bills are winning the Super Bowl. I agree.
I was going to stop talking because I was like, I don't want to talk over your music. But anytime I can say the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, I'm just going to keep talking.
So the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl?
Bills are going to win the Super Bowl.
Bills are going to win the Super Bowl.
Hey,
all right.
Hey.
Well, and because you ruined my intro music, I'm going to do it again. All right. We have the listener questions of the week. We're going to start this off with a football question, and then we'll go to a fun non-football question. And the football question is from Twitter. We were tweeted from DSCN99. And his question is, what is the best way to decide draft picks order in home leagues? And I want to correct myself. I'm not sure that this is just a guy because it's a picture of a whole family. So this might just be the whole family's account. So from this account, what is the best way to decide draft picks order in home leagues?
I've got one, and then we can use it. We can have one answer, or if you guys have your own. But I think the best way to decide a order, again, I'm in college basketball territory down here, so I think one of my favorite ways is to have a March Madness pool of just your league, whether that's 8, 10, 12, whatever your league might be, and however you do in that league or bracket is where you end up drafting.
Makes sense. Do you guys like the just curious, do you like if you get, like, let's say you won the bracket challenge, right? So do you have to take the number 1 pick? Are you like slotted into the first pick, or do you like it like when you're allowed to choose? Like, I'd actually rather be in the 12th pick, so you get to actually choose where you want to go.
I'd prefer to choose.
All right, we are pro.
I think that's my favorite way to do it, is to just go random for picking selections. And then if you say you win the first slot, you get to choose which slot you want to go to. 1, 2, 3, 12, whatever you like. So then the second person would go pick what spot maybe they don't like the second pick. If there's one guy at the top they like and they know they won't get him, they say, I'd rather pick a 12 then, so I get to pick at the turn. That's my favorite way to do it.
I absolutely agree with that.
What's your favorite spot to pick from?
The 1.
It's always 1 for me. Well, I shouldn't say always. It's usually 1 for me because I can usually find a guy that I love. There's always one guy you love, right? There has to be.
Yeah.
So
to me, it's the turns. I like 1 and I like 12.
Yep, that too.
And I just feel like 1 has such an advantage unless you have the third round reversal. But anytime I can get the 1, if it's available, I'm taking the 1 just because of the advantage. Give me the best player in the draft projected, and then the 25th, 24th, and 25th. Is that how that works out?
24th, 25th in a 12-man league. Yep.
Yeah, that just seems like way too big of an advantage to me. And then, yeah, like I said, the 12th round. And if you get that third round reversal, then give me the 12th pick.
I agree.
Anthony, what about you?
For the pick, depends on depends on the league. Like our Ultraflex league, I was originally like I needed a top 3 pick, but I was actually I think I would have enjoyed being at 7 or 8 because to me you can still get one of those top 7 or 8 quarterbacks and then you get a better player on the turn. So if you're going to be a 3 or a 4, to me the difference between a whatever Lamar Jackson or Dak Prescott, isn't that big. I mean, obviously I'd rather have Lamar Jackson if I was picking number 4, but the value of getting someone higher on the second round, I think, is a nice addition.
All right. And the way that I would choose how to best decide your draft picks in order in home leagues is I just think it'd be really cool. Around here, we love to play some cornhole. So if you could get all of your league mates to come over to your house or meet somewhere and just do like a tournament, a cornhole tournament, 1v1, or I guess you could pick your partner, however you want to do that. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah,
cornhole tournament
seems like a fair way to do it.
Any kind of tournament could be fun where you have some competition.
Get
some nice friendly competition between friends or family, whoever it might be.
It doesn't even have to be friendly competition, man.
It doesn't have to be. It can be mean. I mean, that's up to you, I guess. However your league is. Some leagues are different than others.
Some people are more competitive than others. All right. Did you have one, Rob, or you want to skip to the next question?
Yeah, no, mine was just how I talked, like the randomized to choose your draft slot is my favorite way to do it.
The old-fashioned randomizer.
Yep, keep it simple.
All right. Our next question comes from Megan Sutton. What is your guilty pleasure TV show or movie?
I'll go. I unfortunately watch way too much trash TV with said Megan Sutton, aka my wife. She watches a lot of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Below Deck, pretty much anything on like TLC that you should never watch. So one of the shows that I get sucked into and watch pretty regularly with her is, I'm almost embarrassed to say it, is like Jersey Shore. We watch Jersey Shore Family Vacation a lot. We get a lot of Pauly D fist pumping. We get a lot of Jim Tan laundry, Mike the Situation, Snooki.
That show's still on, or
No,
like you're watching
it's-
reruns?
It's still on. The meatballs are active
Oh, man.
and running crazy.
You knew like every like cast. I don't. Is that a?
Cast member, yes.
But is it still a cast member if it's like reality TV?
Yeah.
Well, they have to be cast in it, so yeah, I'd say so.
All right, it just doesn't seem right, but that's disgusting. But good
So
for
like,
you, man.
also likes like Love Island. She likes that.
Don't
can't-
pick too many here. You might
All
choose one of ours.
So Anthony likes to watch TV with his wife. That's what he's saying. That's a good. You're a good man.
Yeah, I watch a lot of trash TV with her.
All right, I'll go next. I know Anthony watches this too, and it doesn't come to the level of his choices, I guess, but I would say mine is Big Brother. I've been watching that since I think season 1. I mean, I was pretty young. I think it's like season 22 or something right now. But yeah, I've been watching that from the start. Love a good showmance.
Hmm.
Also-
Kyle and Alyssa in this season.
Yeah, that's really the only one, right? For the most part, there's a little bit of flirting going on between a few others, but yeah, that's the big one this year. A little quiet on the showmances.
What
Ryan,
is
you
it?
think you got-
Ryan, it's when the two people end up like, I guess, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to say.
Shagging. Got it.
Pretty much.
Ryan, do you think you could stay in a house for 60 days
I could stay in a house for 60 days. Yes.
with
With, like,
no
16 other
access
people?
to TV or the internet and the same people for 60 days?
Can I just go into my room and meditate every day, all day?
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to win the game because they're going to vote you
they'll
out.
vote you out because you'll be the weirdo
Well, I'm
who
okay
doesn't
with-
talk to anybody. You got no social game.
Listen, do I have
Come on,
social
Ryan.
game?
You better be a comp.
Not if you meditate the whole time. Yeah, you just have to win every competition.
You didn't say I had to compete. You said, "Can I go in a house for 60 days?"
You have to compete to win $750,000.
What are we competing? Like, what are you doing? You vying?
You got to
for,
last
like-
the social experiment. You got to be the one to survive the whole house and then get the votes of all your house guests.
So
Housemates.
basically, you have to manipulate people into liking you, and then vote people out. And
You have to vote them out, but still get them to like you. Yes,
It's like the civilized way of Survivor.
pretty
I
much.
would
Because
rather
that was the other one I was going to say was Survivor, but I was like, I don't know if that really is like guilty. I guess it still can be a guilty pleasure. It doesn't have to
I
be
didn't
cheesy
say Big
lovey to
Brother.
be guilty.
Yeah, I didn't say
Pleasure.
Big Brother because I actually like very much enjoy Big Brother. So it's not, to me, it wasn't like,
I do too,
And-
but I don't outwardly tell people that, oh, I love Big Brother. Like I feel it, so that I feel like that becomes a guilty pleasure.
yeah, that's true.
I don't really. I definitely don't watch TV shows like that. Nothing against you guys. It's good that you guys can sit down and enjoy those TV shows. I just personally don't care.
Google where P comes from.
Yes, yeah, I have to know that stuff is way more important to me than watching Big Brother. One of those is educational. Rob, I hope your mom is watching this show.
I'll tell her to tune into this next episode.
Our science teacher from 4th grade. I wonder. I hope she didn't learn something this episode. I feel like that's something she should know.
I feel like you're in Mrs. Green's fourth grade class. Like she was just the science teacher. She was everything teacher.
That's true. She was. We went to a very small
They
school.
probably don't even teach that in high school anymore either. That's like a long lost fact, Ryan.
You think so? I just uncovered.
It might be. Yeah.
I was honestly blown. My mind was blown that you guys didn't know that. So my guilty, like movies that I enjoy a lot are the Lord of the Rings series. I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure or not, but I freaking love Lord of the Rings. I love The Hobbit. I love stuff like that. That fantasy world. I find that very interesting. Currently, I'm watching like Yellowstone. That's not guilty pleasure. I don't feel like it's just a good show. Game of Thrones was possibly my all-time favorite TV series until the last season, which sucked. Other than that, I love watching Bluey. My daughter,
that feels like a good one.
My daughter will I'll put Bluey on if I need just like 10 minutes of, to let my mind just not be stressed out. And I'll put Bluey on, and she don't even watch it. Like she could not care less about watching that show, but she loves the intro. And I'll sit there and watch the whole episode.
You get sucked into it, yeah.
Yeah, I get sucked into it. 'Cause that's a great show.
I do too, actually, when Aurora puts it on.
Shout out to the makers of Bluey. You
got to get some MTV in your life. You got to get
No, absolutely not. I don't even pay for cable. What is that? Cable television? Satellite?
Siesta Key.
Anthony's kids are going to be growing up watching Jersey Shore.
Hey,
It's Bluey.
MTV Cribs.
That's stuff that I grew up watching.
Yeah, you turned out good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's. I guess that's what I'm gonna have to go with is Bluey and all those. That's the only kid show that I actually like though. I love the Disney movies though, Moana and Encanto. Love those movies.
All right,
Those are good picks too.
We are about 2 weeks away from the first game of the year where the Super Bowl champion Buffalo Bills face off against last year's Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. Our next couple episodes, we'll be getting ready for the start of the season. We'll be having some stardom sit-ems. So if you have any question marks for your week one lineup, please send us to them on Twitter. Our Twitter is at UltraflexFFP. Holy moly, that was smooth. I feel like a professional right there. Our individual Twitters are at Ultraflex Sutton is mine, at Ultraflex Rob, and at Ultraflex Ryan. So don't just send us questions. That was very poor English. Send us questions, but also send us your stardom sit-ems. That way we can get those in for week one. We'll also be talking about FanDuel and or DraftKings salaries and have a couple daily fantasy topics that we will discuss. So we are excited for the football season to start. Again, our Twitter is at UltraflexFFP, and Ryan gets the last word.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube. Also, we are on YouTube as Ultraflex Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you all. We will talk to you again next week.